Let's go back to Israel now, and joining us, as he's done for the past few days, very busy man, Israel's Defence Force International Spokesperson, Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Conricus. Good to see you again, Jonathan. Thanks, as always, for your time. Just seeking your thoughts on some claims by Hamas, and I want to see whether you think this is true or not. First of all, Hamas says that it's holding between 200 and 250 Israeli hostages. Is that right?
Yes. Hi, thank you for having me again. The official Israeli confirmed number is 199 Israeli civilians held by Hamas in brutal captivity in Gaza. Many of them civilians, women, children, toddlers, an 80-year-old Holocaust survivor, and even handicapped people. Those are the people that Hamas took.
So when they say up to 250, that's too many? Is that your view? It's the correct number is 199.
First of all, Hamas are liars. That's the first sentence, full stop. Second thing, there's a mind game ongoing. There's disinformation, which is part of warfare. And I'm sure that Hamas will issue many statements and many pieces of information, videos, and they will milk this so-called asset, this situation, to the maximum in order to sow horror and terror and despair and anguish in Israeli society, in order to confuse decision makers and to make it difficult for us to act here.
Okay.
That's what terrorists do.
Yep. Okay. Sorry, Jonathan, to interrupt. Just the other reported claim from Hamas this evening, your time, is that 22 Israeli hostages have been killed by Israeli strikes. Is that true?
Again, Hamas are a bunch of liars.
Okay,
and
so that's
what
not true.
they said, if you remember, on the third day of the fighting, once we started striking Hamas a little bit significantly in the Gaza Strip, they issued a statement that if the Israelis don't stop, we will execute hostages and we'll show it on video. Yeah. So I ask you if they said that almost a week ago, and now they say that hostages have been killed by bombings, 1 and 1 equals 2. Responsibility is on Hamas. All of the rest is chatter and noise.
Does the IDF know where the hostages are being kept? I mean, likely in the underground tunnels, but are you aware of specific locations, or are you still trying to work that out?
So as of now, there is a massive intelligence efforts at the national level. All of the Israeli intelligence agencies are involved and heavily vested in collecting information and different sources of intelligence, analyzing it, and basically making sure that we understand where they are, and most importantly, how we can get them out. For obvious reasons of sensitivity, I won't elaborate what we know and what we are still finding out. But what's important is that we are committed, and have said it 100%, these hostages will be brought back home to Israel.
Okay. Is this why you haven't launched the ground invasion yet, Jonathan, that you're worried about those hostages?
The aim of our war is to completely dismantle Hamas from a military point of view. That's the aim, so that at the end of the war, Hamas will no longer exist. You can understand from that what is the priority. We are going to dismantle Hamas, and we're going to bring the hostages home.
Okay. Would you expect Egypt to reopen Rafa anytime soon? Have you got any information on that to let the civilians out and get aid in?
I have heard many reports, and I know that there are many stakeholders involved, probably many of them wanting to do good and alleviate suffering for the population. But as of now, I am not aware of anything that is finite and clear and going to happen. Lots of talk, and whatever will be decided by the Israeli government, of course, together with the US and Egypt and other stakeholders, we will execute.
Okay. And what about aid, though, coming through the northern border with Gaza? Would you be sending in any, or just leaving it for now?
No, we are not going to be sending in anything that we know Hamas will be using for their military purposes. You know, there was a report today by UNRWA, the UN agency in Gaza. They quickly tweeted very brief tweet which says, we condemn the fact that Hamas officials came to our facilities and took fuel and food that was intended for civilians. a short while after, they deleted that tweet, and since then they have been very, very quiet. That's an example of how Hamas operates. They not only take from the civilians, but they then apply pressure and perhaps kill or threaten UN officials and other internationals if they speak up against doing. And then what you get is information domination coming out of Gaza. All of the information that comes out is controlled by Hamas.
Okay, Jonathan Conricus, really appreciate your time. Just on that, just that number, just one more, 199 hostages now. That's a bit of a jump than the 150 that we'd been reporting. So has that been extra hostages that have been taken, or is that the actual official number that you've settled on from the attack from last weekend?
Yeah, you're right. It's a spike and it needs to be explained. You know, we've been analyzing and trying to identify 1,300 bodies.
Yep.
And it takes time to analyze, you know, DNA and many other factors. And only now have Israeli coroners and researchers and intelligence personnel been able to paint that bigger of a picture and classify who is dead, who is missing, and who we believe has been taken hostage by Hamas. And that's why the number has risen to the very sad and tragic 199. I am unfortunately not saying that it's final. It may rise again. That is what we know so far.
Okay, Jonathan, thanks again for your time. We'll talk to you soon.